welcome to the stage Samira Abdul-Karim, CEO and Principal Consultant, Hyphens and Spaces.
I want you to think about a time where you've walked through your institution and felt that electric moment. That one when a visitor stops in front of the painting for the first and their whole face changes. Or when a child sees an elephant for the first time. Or when the lights dim in your theater and the audience collectively holds its breath. What we're witnessing isn't just engagement, it's transformation. And it happens in those spaces between art and observer, between present and future, between one human heart and another. I'm Samira, and I've spent my career living in these spaces between. As a Black Muslim in organizational psychology, as someone who wears hijab in corporate boardrooms, as someone who is building bridges where others only see gaps. My company is called Hyphens and Spaces because I've learned that the magic happens in those in-between places, the pauses, the connections, that time where separate things become something greater together. What I've learned working with leaders across institutions is this. We're living through a profound rethinking of what it means to be human at work. The old rules don't apply anymore because for years, we've been managing people like we're operating a machine. Marketing coordinator completes campaigns, educational specialist delivers programs, development officer meets fundraising targets. We've created systems that prioritize efficiency over humanity, outputs over outcomes. But organizations don't actually need human resources anymore. They need human beings who can weave together culture itself. Technology can help you manage your social media. Software can track your donors. AI can even write exhibition labels. Technology excels at efficiency, but here's what it can't do. It can't help a grieving family find solace in the memorial exhibition. And it can't guide a teenager through their first encounter with live theater. And it also can't comfort a child who's afraid of the dark but finds comfort and courage watching nocturnal animals. I believe organizations need to pivot to the human agenda. The human agenda isn't just about being kinder, though kindness matters, be kind. The human agenda means building team cultures on 3 sacred principles. First, human dignity as the foundation of every decision, not as some poster on the wall, but as a lived practice in how we engage, even when deadlines loom and tensions rise. This means using principles of organizational justice, whether you're separating with an employee or creating a community fellowship program. Dignity guides the process. The second is trauma-informed wisdom that creates safety for creativity to flourish. The arts, history, conservation work, they all ask us to hold beauty and pain simultaneously. Real wisdom during times of uncertainty means giving equal space to grieving what was lost as you strategically plan what's next. And third, and this is crucial, it's moving away from these formulaic approaches to human-centered experimental ones. There's no shortage of step-by-step models out there that will produce some outcome or promise to produce some outcome. Rather than hunting for the perfect solution, we can start to cultivate the skills in our teams to meet whatever comes with perseverance and creativity. Let me tell you about Brenda. So Brenda is the chief executive of one of Hyphens and Space's long-term clients, Vocal Partners. She stepped in to lead an organization where passionate people were drowned. For decades, they've been stuck in reactive decision-making and lawsuits that diverted funds from the communities that they were striving to serve. But Brenda saw what the organization could be, and getting there meant dismantling what it had been. So she did what organizational leaders struggle sometimes to do. She chose transformation over preservation. 3 of the 5 entities that made that partnership chose to walk away rather than undergo the change. And staff tensions rose as executive team members who were comfortable with the familiar systems began to push back against her vision. Even board members who were fearing personal exposure escalated their conflicts to litigation. This came at a cost. But Brenda had what I call purpose-rooted resilience. She knew that this transformation wasn't about her. It was about the communities who were waiting to be served with excellence instead of excuses. She refused to let the organization's survival instinct override its service mission. And that shows today. Vocal Partners supports communities that are fighting systematic injustice through unrestricted funding for fellowships for social justice innovators, public policy, and Mobile Citizen, which is their program that provides low-cost internet to nonprofits, schools, and libraries. I soon understood that I wasn't only consulting on change management with Vocal. Together, we were tending to the spaces between what was and what could be. In our collaboration, we moved the organization from reactive to proactive, from controlling to empowering, from paternalistic to trusting. We transformed a culture of fear into one where staff achieved the highest satisfaction ratings in the organization's history. Brenda taught me what no textbook could. She was modeling what it looked like to lead from integrated humanity, not just professional competence, but wisdom forged through life's complexities, purpose-rooted resilience in action that was greater than self-preservation. I carry that with me, and it sustains me even now in this current period of upheaval and uncertainty, especially in my profession. We fundamentally changed what we work and what we ask for people at work. Now we must fundamentally change what we provide for them as organizational leaders. We demand more humanity from our people, more creativity, resilience, emotional intelligence. They deserve more humanity from us in return. I have the benefit of working with forward-thinking organizations like Tessatura, who understand that technology serves humanity and not the other way around. You can't create transformative experiences for others if your people don't feel safe to take risks and experiment with positive change. You can't invite vulnerability from your audiences if staff don't feel fully invited to be human. And you can't inspire resilience in your communities if you're not cultivating it in your teams. So what does this look like in practice? I'm a consultant. It means shifting how you engage with your existing teams. So instead of saying, how do we get this done faster? Or how do we get more productivity? You're asking, how do we create the conditions where people can bring their creativity and resilience to this work? Instead of implementing another policy or procedure, slow down and ask, how do we help our people develop the interpersonal skills to navigate this complexity together? It means recognizing that your curator's ability to handle controversy around a challenging exhibition isn't only about their art history expertise. It is also about their emotional intelligence, their capacity to hold tension, and their skill at bridging different perspectives. Or that your education's team's success with school groups isn't only about their lesson planning, it's about their ability to read a room, to adapt in real time, and to understand the communities that they are striving to serve. I want to leave you with this image. Think of your institution as a hyphen. That small mark that connects two separate things and creates something new. Between past and future, art and audience, isolation and connection. But hyphens only work when both sides are strong, and spaces only hold meaning when they're carefully tended. What if, instead of managing your teams to execute tasks, you started cultivating humans to tend spaces? What if you looked for ways to develop people who could hold complexity with grace and who could build bridges where others only see gaps? In a world growing more divided, more digital, and more disconnected, your institutions are not just preserving culture. You are modeling what it looks like when humans come together around what matters most. The future doesn't belong to organizations with the most effective systems or the best technology. It belongs to organizations and places where human dignity is honored, where resilience is cultivated, and where the spaces between us become places for possibility instead of division. Your work, tending to art, to history, to wonder, it's the work of tending to the human spirit. And that work requires nothing less than the full depth of human possibility. That's the human agenda. And it starts with each of us in the spaces between what we've inherited and what we're brave enough to build. Thank you.
As Samira reminds us, we're living in the spaces between past and future, between art and audience, between isolation and connection. Our innovators have shared different faces of the same truth, that belonging isn't just about who gets through the door, it's about the intentional work of creating space where transformation can happen. Pablo, Imelda, James and Samira have shown us that the future belongs to those organisations brave enough to create space where the full depth of human possibility can flourish. Their message is clear. We're not just preserving culture, we're modelling what it looks like when people come together around what matters most.